Legacy data and over-retention. Why yesterday's data is today's liability. Legacy data and over-retention represent one of the largest unpriced risks in modern enterprises. Unlike breaches or transfers, these risks are often invisible, normalized, and culturally entrenched until a regulator, litigant, or attacker exposes them. At a mature privacy program level, the question is no longer, do we retain too much data? It is, why are we still retaining data that no longer serves a defensible business purpose? What we mean by legacy data. Legacy data is not simply old data. It typically has one or more of the following traits. Collected under obsolete legal regimes or notice frameworks. Stored in retired or semi-retired systems. Lacking clear ownership or accountability. Subject to unknown or expired consent. Copied, replicated, and reused without governance. Retained just in case rather than by design. Critically, legacy data often falls outside modern privacy controls, making it both high risk and low visibility. Over-retention, a structural failure, not a policy gap. Most organizations already have retention policies. Over-retention persists because of fear of deletion. Hey, we might need it someday. We all have that box of screws or that junk drawer. Legal hold misunderstanding, poor data mapping, inadequate system deletion capabilities, incentives that reward data accumulation, not minimization. Executives should reconsider. Over-retention is usually a governance and accountability failure, not a lack of legal knowledge. Regulatory exposure. Why this is getting riskier. Core legal principles. Across major regimes, retention must be limited to what is necessary for defined lawful purpose. This principle is embedded in GDPR, storage limitations, CPRA, data minimization, LGPD, purpose limitation, emerging AI governance frameworks, to name some. EU enforcement reality. Under GDPR, regulators increasingly ask, why do you still have this data? Who decided to keep it? Where is the deletion logic enforced? Legacy data that predates GDPR is not grandfathered. If you still need it to process, great, but you must justify it under the current law. U.S. regulatory shifts. While U.S. law historically tolerated overcollection, enforcement is evolving. State privacy laws now explicitly require data minimization. Attorney General's framework over-retention as unfair or deceptive practice. Plaintiffs increasingly allege negligence based on unnecessary retention. Translation, data you don't need but kept becomes a liability at the moment something goes wrong. The litigation multiplier effect. Legacy data significantly increases discovery scope, legal costs, reputational exposure, settlement pressure, and executives often underestimate how every additional year of retained data expands the narrative surface area of a case. Email logs, customer histories, and internal analytics often outlive the business rationale that created them. So keep that in mind, keep that in check. Security implications. From a security perspective, you cannot lose what you don't keep. Attackers target low visibility, poorly governed data sets. Legacy systems often lack modern security controls. Over-retention directly increases breach blast radius, incident response complexity, and notification obligations across jurisdictions. Why deletion is hard. Deletion fails because data is fragmented. Copies and backups, archives, data lakes, analytic platforms, security tools, etc. Systems were not built for erasure, especially older ERP, HR, and CRM systems. No executive ownerships. Retention is everyone's problem and no one's priority. Cultural fear. Deleting data feels irreversible. risk is perceived asymmetrically. Executive accountability, the turning point. Regulators increasingly expect clear data ownership, retention rationales tied to business functions, evidence of active deletion, not aspirational policy. The uncomfortable truth. If no executive can explain why data exists, the organization likely should not have it. That goes with any of the data owners also. What mature organizations are doing differently. Treating data like inventory. You track what you have, you justify why you keep it, you dispose of what no longer serves a purpose. Embedding retention in system design. Automate deletion workflows. Time-based triggers. Legal hold overrides with expiration logic. Shifting the burden of proof. Instead of asking, why should we delete this? Ask, what is the lawful basis to keep this? Aligning privacy, legal, IT, and security. Retention decisions are no longer siloed. They are cross-functional. They're documented, reviewed periodically. It's essential to do that. Strategic, strategic executive takeaways. Legacy data is not neutral. It carries legal, security, and reputational risk. Over-retention magnifies every other risk. Breaches, litigation, regulatory scrutiny. Deletion is a leadership decision. It's not an IT task or a privacy policy line. Take ownership. Get it done. Regulators now expect intentional data life cycles, not passive accumulation. If you can't defend why you have it, you shouldn't keep it. Delete it.